Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a rear window regulator. We show you on the passenger side. Driver's side is the same procedure. You'll need a small flat blade screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, utility knife, 10mm socket and ratchet extension, tape, and of course a new window regulator from 1AAuto.com. All you'll need is a small flat blade screwdriver, a pick tool, and a Phillips screwdriver. You start out by prying up the back of the panel, and then there's a tab on the harness that you push in and pull the harness. And then with a small flat blade screwdriver or a pick tool, pry out the bottom of that panel to reveal two screws up there, and then there's another screw down lower. And then down further on the panel in the relief here, there's another screw for a total of 4 Phillips screws. And I'm going to press on the tab and pull off that switch panel. And I'll fast forward here as I remove the 4 Phillips screws. Now pull out on your door handle, and then you need to release the rod, and there's a little purple clip. It may be a different color on the other side, but use a flat blade screwdriver if it helps, and just push that clip and it rotates around the door handle rod. And then once you get the clip off, the rod just pulls up and the handle comes off. And then there's a series of clips around the outside of the door. Start in the front bottom, pull on the door handle or the door panel firmly, and those clips will release. And then the door panel comes up and off. Push the lock through, and you're all set. Carefully use a razor knife. Sometimes you can pull it without having to cut it, but usually cutting it is a little bit easier. And peel back the water shield. And again, do this carefully and peel it back enough so that you can get at all the bolts for the window regulator. Most often when a regulator breaks, the cable breaks. So what I'm doing here is I'm just moving the window down. I reconnected my switch, and I move it down into a spot where you can see the 2 bolts. Now if your window regulator was broken, you'd be able to just move it by hand and move it to a point where you can get to the 2 bolts through those 2 holes. Those are 10mm bolts. You can go ahead and remove those. Bolts are removed. You can separate the window from the regulator and pull it up into place. You might want to use some tape to hold it up in place, and then disconnect the harness by pressing in the tab. Then you want to loosen up some of the screws and remove the other ones. The ones that are in the oblong holes you loosen. The ones that are not in the oblong holes you take out. And first I'm going to pry on the clip and remove the harness from that clip. And then also there's another clip a little back further. Push on one side of it and pull it out. And then I'll fast forward here as I loosen or remove the 10mm bolts that hold the regulator in. You're about ready to pull it out, but there's one more little clip. Pull on it from the back side and push on the teeth with the screwdriver. That clip comes out, and then you can take your window regulator out through the large hole in the door. When you go to put a new regulator in, you'll want to make sure that the bolt is in the top bracket, and then there's 2 bolts on the motor, and then you'll also want to take the clip off. It kind of just snaps off, and put it back on to your new window regulator, and then put the window regulator into place. You're going to pull it through, and you're going to want to pull the harness through the hole. And then you'll want to hang up the regulator and the motor by the bolts that are installed. You can see that top bolt goes in right at the top of the door there, hangs down, and then the 2 bolts on the window motor. Make sure that your harness doesn't get pinched. Make sure it pulls through all the way. you can activate the clips there and up there. And now I'm just going to fast forward as I install the rest of the bolts and then tighten them up. Put your harness back on the clip. Your new harness may come with a new clip, so you'd pull the clip out of the door, then reconnect the harness. Now you can take the tape off the window if you use some tape to hold it up, and lower the window down until it contacts the regulator, and then put the 2 bolts in that hold the window to the regulator. And most likely, as I did a couple times, you'll drop them, but you try to kind of put them into your socket and ratchet, and then carefully put them down through, get them going in, and then tighten them up. Put your water shield back in place. Make sure the harness pulls through. Make sure it's lined up. The door lock rod pulls through, as well as the door latch rod pulls through. To reinstall, make sure you pull the harness up through the proper location. It should go through the bottom there, not through the door handle hole. Put the door lock knob through and pull the door lock knob up so it's unlocked. And then get the panel on the upper window ledge and push it down, and make sure that that harnesses come through. Then press and lock all the clips on around the outside. Fast forward as I put those 2 screws in. Now install your door handle. Make sure the rod is coming through, and it's sometimes can be a little difficult. You gotta feed the handle in there, push the rod down into the handle. I use a screwdriver to just kind of help me get back in there, push the rod down, and then flip the clip around and lock it on. Unfortunately, there's not really a good way to film it. Once it's in place, push the door handle into place, and then I'll fast forward again as I put those 2 Phillips screws in to hold it. And then put the trim back in place, and you're all set. Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.